Just want to say an amazing place, South Carolina. Congratulations to my husband. He was working very hard.
Once hailed for her elegance, Melania Trump has become a mysterious figure in the public eye. Titled one of the worst first ladies in American history, she's weathered scandals, memes, and online ridicule, all because of her husband's controversies. But now she's vanished from the spotlight. No more rallies, no more public appearances. The question everyone's asking, where is Melania Trump now? Today we'll dive deep into her past, uncovering the woman behind the title of Mrs. Trump, and explore the reasons behind her sudden silence. Melania Trump, a journey from modesty to the spotlight. Melania Trump, born Melania Naus in Sevnica, Slovenia, is a figure who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most recognized women in the world. Her life story is a blend of perseverance, ambition, and transformation, beginning long before she became the First Lady of the United States. As a former model, successful entrepreneur, and now a public figure tied to one of the most controversial political figures in modern history, her journey from an ordinary girl in a small town to the world stage is nothing short of extraordinary. Early life. A humble beginning. Melania was born on April 26, 1970, in Sevnica, a picturesque town in what was then Yugoslavia and is now Slovenia. Growing up in a modest, state-run housing complex, Melania's childhood was shaped by the values of hard work and simplicity. She was the youngest of 3 children in her family, with a sister named Inez, with whom she shared a close bond. Her father, Victor Kanavs, worked as a chauffeur and later sold car parts, while her mother, Amalia, was a pattern maker at a children's clothing manufacturer. The combination of her mother's craftsmanship and her father's work ethic left a lasting impression on Melania. From a very young age, Melania was drawn to the world of fashion, a passion inspired by her mother's work. As a child, she often participated in fashion shows that featured children's clothing, honing her appreciation for design and aesthetics. Despite living in a modest home, her family's strong sense of ambition was evident. Melania showed early signs of excellence not just in her passion for fashion, but in other aspects of her life as well. She was an all-rounder, excelling in her academics, and even becoming the school treasurer. These early experiences in leadership and dedication to her interests would shape the confident, independent woman she would later become. Modeling career. From Slovenia to the world stage. At the age of 16, Melania began to work as a model, initially in Slovenia, where she quickly gained recognition for her beauty and grace. Her talent did not go unnoticed, and she soon started working for various fashion agencies and photographers. As she ventured deeper into the modeling industry, her career took her to some of the most prestigious fashion capitals of the world. By the time she was in her early 20s, Melania had already made a name for herself in Europe, working for prominent designers in Milan and Paris. But it was in 1996 that her career truly took a dramatic turn. She moved to the United States, where she was encouraged by Paolo Zampoli, a co-owner of the Metropolitan Models Agency, who would later become a lifelong friend and a key figure in her personal life. Zampoli was instrumental in helping her secure her U.S. visa and opening the door to the American fashion industry. In New York, Melania's modeling career began to skyrocket. She posed for high-profile magazines such as Vogue, GQ, and Harper's Bazaar, and appeared in campaigns for major brands like Camel Cigarettes and Victoria's Secret. Her most notable campaign was in 1996, when a shot of her posing for Camel appeared on a massive billboard in Times Square. This moment catapulted her to international fame, and she became a well-known figure in both the fashion world and among the general public. Despite her rising fame, Melania remained relatively private, preferring to keep a low profile away from the celebrity circuit. She was never one to partake in the glamorous, fast-paced social life of New York's elite, a trait that made her stand out in an industry known for its ostentation. Melania's lifestyle was simple and disciplined, and she kept her social circle small, focusing primarily on her work and building her career. Entrepreneurial ventures, jewelry and skincare lines. While modeling was her primary focus, Melania also had a deep passion for entrepreneurship. In 2009, she launched her own jewelry line, aptly named Melania Timepieces and Jewelry. The collections were inspired by her life experiences in New York, Paris, and Palm Beach, and they quickly gained popularity. The pieces were known for their elegant designs and timeless appeal, much like Melania herself. Each piece was designed by Melania personally, and it reflected her taste and appreciation for fine craftsmanship. The collection sold out each time they were released, cementing her status as not only a model, but also a savvy businesswoman. In 2011, Melania expanded her brand further, attempting to launch a skincare line called Melania Mark Skincare. However, this venture encountered legal complications that threatened to derail her plans. A company she had partnered with for distribution ran into legal trouble, and the contract was eventually voided. In response, Melania filed a lawsuit for $50 million in lost revenue, though the case ultimately did not yield the results she had hoped for. Frustrated, she decided to focus on her family life, putting her entrepreneurial endeavors on hold. Despite the setbacks, Melania's career in business was a reflection of her ambition and her desire to leave a lasting legacy beyond her modeling career. She continued to design and create, maintaining her love for fashion and beauty, even if her public profile began to wane in the years following her time in the spotlight. The road to the White House. Love and politics. It was at a fashion party in New York City in 1998 that Melania's life would take another dramatic turn. She met Donald Trump, who was then married to his second wife, Marla Maples. Trump, known for his bold personality and public persona, was immediately taken by Melania's beauty, but instead of giving him her number, Melania was clever enough to ask for his, turning the tables on the wealthy businessman. This small act of defiance impressed Trump, and they began dating soon after. Melania, however, was not interested in being just another woman in Trump's life. She knew her worth and had no intention of being someone who could easily be replaced. She was indifferent during their early dates, a move that intrigued Trump and made him more invested in getting to know her. Despite the differences in their lives, Melania was a successful model, while Trump was a real estate mogul with a family. She felt a strong connection to him. Their relationship grew steadily, and by 2004, Trump proposed to Melania on her 34th birthday with a stunning 15-carat diamond engagement ring. The proposal took place at the Met Gala, an event where the two were surrounded by the glittering elite of New York's social scene. Trump made a heartfelt speech, praising Melania as the most influential person in his life and expressing his belief that she was the most compatible woman he had ever known. A private life amid public scrutiny. Melania and Donald Trump were married on January 22, 2005, in a lavish ceremony at Mar-a-Lago, Florida. It was a wedding fit for the social elite, with celebrities and politicians in attendance. Melania, ever the picture of grace and poise, became the third wife of the real estate mogul, and her life entered a new phase as she stood by Trump's side through his rise to political power. During his 2016 presidential campaign, Melania was a supportive partner, although she rarely appeared in public or made political statements. As Trump's wife, she took on the role of the First Lady of the United States when he was elected president in 2016. However, her time in the White House was not without controversy, and she faced constant scrutiny from the media and the public. Critics often focused on her fashion choices, her silence on political issues, and her strained relationship with her husband. Despite this, Melania maintained her composure, continuing to present herself as a dignified, supportive wife and mother. However, in the years following Trump's presidency, Melania began to withdraw from the public eye. She ceased attending campaign rallies, and it became apparent that she was no longer as visible in her husband's political endeavors. Her absence sparked widespread speculation, with many wondering if she was unhappy with her marriage, or if she was simply taking a step back after years of public life. The mystery of Melania. Trump today. Melania Trump remains a figure of intrigue. She has largely disappeared from the public stage, and her absence has raised questions about her future, her relationship with Donald Trump, and her personal life. While some believe that she has quietly distanced herself from the political world, others wonder if there is more to her story than meets the eye. Regardless of public opinion, Melania Trump's journey from a small town in Slovenia to the White House is a testament to her resilience, ambition, and ability to reinvent herself. Early life and entry into the spotlight. Melania Trump, born Melania Knaus in 1970 in the then Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia, now Slovenia, had a life far removed from the glamour and fame she would later enjoy. Growing up in a state-run housing complex, she was the youngest of 3 children. Melania's family, though not wealthy, was supportive of her dreams. Her father, Victor Knaus, worked as a chauffeur before transitioning into the automotive sales business, while her mother, Amalia, was a pattern maker for a children's clothing manufacturer. The combination of her mother's influence and the fashion-focused environment in their home sparked Melania's early passion for design and modeling. From a young age, Melania showed an interest in fashion, taking part in children's fashion shows and modeling for various local designers. By the time she was 16, she was already working as a professional model. Her striking looks and towering figure allowed her to easily transition from school-run fashion events to more serious modeling gigs. As a child, she had always been a dedicated student, even managing to balance her modeling career while excelling academically. Melania served as her school's treasurer, showing her leadership skills early on. She graduated from the Secondary School for Design and Photography, a prestigious institution in Ljubljana, where she learned the basics of design that would later influence her later ventures into business. A rising star in the modeling world. After finishing her schooling, Melania's passion for modeling took her to Milan and Paris, where she worked with some of the top names in the fashion industry. By the mid-1990s, she was well on her way to becoming an internationally recognized model. At the age of 18, she signed with the Metropolitan Models Agency, which led her to the United States in 1996. She later changed the spelling of her name from Knaus to the more international-sounding Knaus, solidifying her presence in the fashion world. Melania's career in modeling was a steady climb. She appeared in magazines, advertisements, and walked the runways of several major fashion houses in Europe. Her striking features, high cheekbones, long legs, and platinum blonde hair, made her a standout in the crowded modeling industry. She even had the opportunity to pose for renowned photographers like Ellen von Unwerth, and her image graced the covers of some of the world's top magazines, including Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Vanity Fair. Though she found success, Melania remained somewhat enigmatic. Unlike many of her peers who reveled in the spotlight, she was always more reserved, preferring to lead a quieter life. This calm demeanor would be a defining characteristic of her personality throughout her career. Her presence in the public eye was always controlled, and she avoided the often chaotic social scene that came with the high-profile modeling world. The meeting that would change everything. It was in 1998 at a party in New York City that Melania's life would change forever. At the time, she was an up-and-coming model, and Donald Trump, already a famous real estate mogul, was married to his second wife, Marla Maples. Trump, however, was immediately captivated by Melania's beauty. He asked for her number, but Melania, with her typical poise and confidence, turned him down, instead giving him her own number. This move intrigued Trump, and he pursued her persistently. Over time, their relationship deepened and they began dating, despite the challenges of maintaining a relationship under the intense scrutiny of the media. Melania was careful not to let their relationship overshadow her professional life. Even as her romance with Trump grew, she continued to focus on her career and her personal goals. She was no ordinary model. She had aspirations beyond the catwalk. Her interests lay in fashion design and business, something that would later shape her future endeavors. Entering the world of business. By 2009, Melania had transitioned from being a model to a businesswoman. She launched her own jewelry line, Melania Jewelry, which quickly gained popularity. The collection was inspired by her travels and experiences in places like Paris and New York, where she had spent much of her adult life. The jewelry line was a reflection of her personal taste, elegant, sophisticated, and timeless. Despite her success in the fashion world, Melania's career was not without its setbacks. In 2011, she attempted to expand into skincare with the launch of Melania Skincare, but this venture was marred by legal battles and the eventual dissolution of her contract with the companies involved. Despite the challenges, Melania's business endeavors continued to reflect her desire to build something of her own, independent of her famous husband. Marrying Donald Trump. After dating for several years, Donald Trump proposed to Melania in a grand gesture at the Met Gala in 2004, gifting her a 15-carat diamond ring. However, along with the engagement came a prenuptial agreement, which Melania had not expected. Despite this, she agreed to the terms, not allowing it to affect her relationship with Trump. Her confidence and self-assurance were traits that Trump admired deeply, and he often spoke about how her presence made her stand out in any room, even one filled with 1,000 people. On January 22, 2005, Melania and Donald Trump were married in a lavish ceremony at the Bethesda by the Sea Church in Palm Beach, Florida. The wedding was a grand affair, with numerous guests from the worlds of politics, entertainment, and business. Despite the size of the event, Melania kept things simple and insisted on one important request. She did not want the wedding to be televised. Trump respected her wishes, and the event was kept private. For Melania, the wedding was not just about the spectacle, but about solidifying her commitment to Trump. Her sister Inez, with whom she had always shared a close bond, was her only bridesmaid. This gesture emphasized how important family was to Melania. Despite the glittering world in which she now moved, family remained central to her life. Life after marriage. After marrying Trump, Melania became a stepmother to his 4 children from previous marriages. She developed a particularly close relationship with Tiffany, Trump's daughter from his second marriage to Marla Maples. Melania's role as a stepmother was an important one, and she embraced the challenges of blending her new family. As Melania settled into married life, she gradually stepped back from her modeling career. She devoted more time to her family, focusing on her son Barron, who was born in 2006. The birth of Barron marked a turning point for Melania. She began to prioritize motherhood, and her social life became much more private. She spent her days in Trump Tower, where she enjoyed the luxuries of her new life, including a private spa on the top floor. In 2006, Melania became a U.S. citizen, solidifying her status as an American. She was one of the few first ladies to be born outside the United States, and her naturalization added an interesting dimension to her role as a public figure. As Barron grew older, Melania began to contemplate a return to the public sphere, but it would be several years before she would make her comeback. The 2016 presidential campaign. In 2016, Donald Trump launched his bid for the presidency. Initially skeptical, it was Melania who convinced her husband to run, supporting him through the grueling campaign. Despite the controversies that surrounded his candidacy, ranging from allegations of sexual misconduct to inflammatory statements, Melania stood by him unconditionally. She was careful not to get involved too deeply in the day-to-day workings of the campaign, making public appearances only when she chose to. Her absence from many of the campaign events led to public speculation, with some questioning her dedication to her husband's bid. However, Melania explained that she wanted to focus on her son Barron, keeping him out of the spotlight as much as possible. Her choice to remain somewhat removed from the public eye was also a result of her desire to avoid unnecessary scrutiny. During the campaign, Melania's modeling background came into play as she maintained a calm, poised, and elegant demeanor, presenting herself as a figure of grace and composure amidst the chaos of the election. She was a stylish presence, often appearing in simple yet sophisticated outfits, and never allowing herself to be caught off guard by the paparazzi. Despite the challenges, she remained a quiet, supportive force in her husband's campaign. One of the most controversial moments during the campaign came when an ad produced by a super PAC supporting Ted Cruz featured a nude photo of Melania from her past modeling days. The ad was meant to attack Trump, but it backfired, with many people rallying around Melania, condemning the use of her image without her consent. While the ad generated negative attention, it did little to harm Trump's candidacy. Instead, Melania became a symbol of resilience and grace under pressure. However, the 2016 Republican National Convention saw further controversy when Melania delivered a speech that contained several lines plagiarized from a 2008 address by Michelle Obama. The gaffe caused a media frenzy, and many people criticized her for not properly vetting the speech. Donald Trump was furious with the incident, and Melania was visibly upset. This was a rare public misstep for a woman who had carefully curated her image throughout her career. The election and the First Lady role. Despite the setbacks and controversies, Donald Trump won the presidency in November 2016. Melania's role as First Lady was a highly anticipated one, but her first few months in the position were unconventional. Instead of immediately moving to the White House, she chose to stay in New York City with Barron to ensure a smoother transition for him. Her absence from Washington, D.C. fueled speculation about her role and led to rumors that Ivanka Trump, Donald's eldest daughter, would take on many of the traditional duties of First Lady. These rumors caused friction between Melania and Ivanka, with some perceiving a rivalry between the two. While Ivanka did step in to perform some First Lady duties, it was clear that Melania had her own ideas about the role.